Hello and welcome to Sports Talk in the Burgh.
I'm your host, Joey Drumasic. This week, I am pleased to be joined by some extremely intelligent ball knowers. To my left, the Penn State fanatic, Nick Evans, and to my right, the Pittsburgh diehard, Brett McGulick. Welcome, gentlemen. How are we feeling today?
Let's go, Lurs.
I'm feeling great. I mean, Franklin's gone. It's a new era start for Penn State.
That's another good pick.
That's positive. I'm excited.
Okay. Let's get right into it, fellas. How about we? The Pittsburgh Steelers faced off against the Cleveland Browns this past weekend and locked up the Browns defense to beat the AFC North rival to improve to 4-1 on the season. With how the AFC looks so far this season and the Steelers currently sitting in second behind the Colts, do the Steelers have a legit chance to secure the top seed, or will they slow down at the end of the season? Brett?
I don't know, man. I'd like to think they do, but it's the Steelers. I've always worried about the Steelers. I mean, we saw the same thing last year where they looked pretty hot to start. Justin Fields went 4-2, and then Russ came in and racked up some wins. Then they slowly died down. I would say for sure, I am more confident in this team overall than I was last year's team. You got Aaron Rodgers. You got a guy who's done it all, who's seen it all in the backfield.
This is not the same AFC that they've had to compete in for the last few years, though. I mean, last year, Chiefs 15-2, Bills 13-4. There's powerhouse seasons every year. I'm not seeing that team right now that's the dominant team. It's looking like the winner of this year's AFC is going to have 12 wins. That's what the Steelers are built for. And if I'm going to point out something that I think puts the Steelers over the top of teams like the Colts and the Chargers and the Patriots, the Steelers do not have the competition in their division that those teams have. The Colts have the Jaguars, just knocked off the Chiefs. They look like they're going to be a stingy team here and there. Even the Texans could make some noise. I mean, they put up a ton of points on the Ravens a few weeks ago. I mean, granted, the Ravens are terrible. But moving on to the Chargers division, Chargers have the Chiefs in their division. Chiefs are good. Chiefs are good. Chargers are good. That division will be tough. The Steelers don't have that competition in their division. Look at the strength of schedule here so far. I mean, that's obviously strength of schedule plays a big role in where you're moving on to go in the season. And
I think you make good points here, but it's not, to me, it's not about the teams they're facing. I'm worried mostly about this team in particular. I just think, are they going to crumble? Is my biggest question every year. Is this possible to keep this going? Is Aaron Rodgers going to stay healthy? I think it comes down to a huge number of things with this team. Is this team going to stay on top, or are they going to implode? I think it's more of an implosion tactic than it would be the
I think this Thursday is going to say a lot. I think
100%.
For coming up, because Thursday has all the makings of a trap game. You know, we know what happened last year in Cleveland. It's a game that the Steelers should have won over Jameis Winston and the Browns. They didn't. This Thursday against the Bengals, it's the same thing. I mean, you're going to go up against a team that you should beat, but Pittsburgh having the short week, is that going to cause issues in games that you need to win and stay in this race with the Colts and the Chargers?
Quick question. Do you guys think the offense or defense is going to be the reason why the Steelers may fall off at the end of the season?
I'm going to say probably the defense. I think the defense. I think the defense is already. I think the defense, because I'm going to say that there's been a bad rep with injuries so far this year, and I think that if they get injured again, I think that that's what's going to make it tough. The team that's going to get the furthest for this #1 seed is a team that stays healthy the longest.
Okay, it's a great point, Nick. And we're going to be sticking in Pittsburgh with the Steelers with the trade deadline slowly creeping upon us. The Steelers may be potential buyers this season, with Adam Schefter reporting that the Steelers being interested in trading for a receiver to solidify their offense. So which target should the Steelers go for to increase their Super Bowl chances? Nick?
Well, I'm not going to say one of those high-end players like A.J. Brown that everybody wants for their team. That's just going to clash with DK too much. I'm going to throw in Jacoby Myers from the Raiders. Disgruntled receiver who wanted a new contract with his team and didn't get it, wanted a trade. He requested a trade. He's playing for them right now. They're bad. They're really bad. They're going to be ending up dishing off players, and I think Jacoby Myers is one of those guys they're going to trade off, especially since they won't have him under contract next year.
You don't think
you don't just let him walk for free.
You don't think they'll keep him just for kind of leadership?
No. You don't keep a guy on your team just for him to walk for free when you can get some draft picks for him. The Raiders need picks right now. The Steelers have an excess of picks. They're projected to have 12 picks in this upcoming draft. You can give up a 5th and a 6th for Jacoby Myers, and the Raiders would take that, you know. I mean, strong hands, reliable receiver. He's a guy you would want on your team to complement DK, especially with the Calvin Austin injury.
I like how you mentioned picks. And I'm going to head over to another really bad team. I'm going to go over to the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to go with Chris Olave here. Now, I think the Steelers could give up a little bit more for him on this end, maybe even a second-round pick. Again, the Saints, the Saints, a bad team. You mentioned
second-round
you
pick.
mentioned it.
You gave up a second-round pick for DK Metcalf. You're going to give up a second-round pick for a guy who's had 5 concussions in his career.
If he can stay healthy, obviously that is a big question.
If he can
exactly.
stay healthy.
Okay, but when you're trading, like there's always going to be ifs. If the Steelers
There's an if in everything. There's an if in
Yes,
every single
but
question you ask.
If someone has a bad history, look at George Pickens. All right, it's not injuries, but he had a bad history of throwing tantrums.
And now he is balling on the Cowboys. So you could see that change. That change in
He's
theory
balling on the
could
Cowboys
possibly.
because CeeDee Lamb is hurt. There was no question about Pickens' talent. Chris Olave is a talented receiver.
100%. He could complement DK.
Chris Olave is a talented receiver. There are outside issues other than his talent that I think a second-round pick is not worth it, especially in a draft where the Steelers are looking for a quarterback for their future.
Okay, but
If they have 12 picks, they can afford to
but
get
you're
one
getting
for
your
a bona
quarterback in
fide
the
stud
first
in
2
Chris
rounds.
Olave.
Nick,
Chris Olave right now is not worth a second-round pick in my opinion.
Do you think DK Metcalf was worth a second round?
Yes, I do.
DK Metcalf also was the guy that had injuries. And
He has
also
not had the
DK Metcalf was
receiver
also
injury
an
that
if.
Chris
We didn't know
Olave
what to expect out of him this season.
He has
He's
not
another
had the injury
dog.
history that Chris Olave has. The Saints have a guy on their team that I would take over Chris Olave in Rashid Shaheed. I mean, how willing are they even to dish off Olave? They just picked up his 5th-year option. They want him on the team in 2026. They think he's a guy in their future plans, not a guy they need to get rid of to further their future plans. Jacoby Myers, he's on his way out, no matter what. Whether it's at the trade deadline, whether it's in the offseason. He's on his way out. The Saints want Chris Olave for their future. I don't think that the Steelers want to give up a
second-round pick could be a huge future builder for this team. If the price is right, you never really know. They could be willing to give up that pick, especially for a second-rounder. I mean, if you're willing to kind of sell everybody for such a bad team, you never know. It could happen.
Yep. We'll have to see at the trade deadline. But with this season already being a third of the way done, the sophomores in the league have been able to showcase their skills more this season, with many of them shining and leading their teams to a much more successful season through 6 games than the previous season as a whole. So which sophomore has been the biggest star and has been the most successful so far? Brett, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Drake May here. I know this past season, that may be a controversial pick, but if you're looking at how Drake May is balling right now and you're looking at the people around him, this has been a revolutionary start to the year for Drake May. He's top 10 in touchdowns to start the season. He's 5th in yards, top 10 in QBR at 72.3. 3 straight wins for the first time since 2021. The Patriots are top of the AFC East. And now he is a fantastic coach. And Mike Vrabel, a guy who did it with the Titans, a guy who pretty much got fired for literally no reason. And he's got that quarterback build, 6'4", 225. He is the ideal QB for this team, and he could go well.
I was just going to ask that question. Success, what experience? Okay. Yeah, what success like around the team, like in the experience that they have? How is that going to help May when it comes later?
I mean, he's still balling right now with not that much around him.
How long does Stephon Diggs really have? I want to move on to my pick because I'm a little embarrassed that you haven't mentioned the former Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels. You know, he's, in my opinion, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Not just sophomore quarterback, he's one of the best. And he's proven. He's won 2 playoff games already in his rookie year. He took down the Lions. He took down the Buccaneers. And he went and played the Eagles, and he showed up. I think there's a lot more that goes into a quarterback's success, and it's the team around them. Granted, May is a great coach. So does Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels has a better team around him. There's a good mix of youth on there, and Jaden Daniels has his receiver combo for the future with Terry McLaurin. And I see that the Commanders have put a lot of emphasis on improving around him with the team. They went out and they signed Deebo Samuel to improve his wide receiver core. Bill Krosky-Merritt is emerging as a running back. The defense is led by veteran Bobby Wagner. Zach Ertz leads the offense as a veteran. It's a great situation, and he's got a tough division to prove himself. I mean, the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants are on the come up. The competition in Drake May's division is weak. He's playing the Dolphins and the Jets twice a year. How much does that prepare you?
I will say
how much does that prepare you?
That's gonna help Drake May be more successful if he's in a weaker.
It's going to make him play in a weak division.
Yeah, okay, but he's he's being able to showcase that in a weaker division. Right now, if he can get to the playoffs
Okay,
at
but
a
Jaden
young
Daniels
age,
is showcasing it against the Philadelphia Eagles. He's showcasing it against the Cowboys, who Cowboys are obviously terrible.
Playoffs is playoffs. I don't care
Playoffs,
who you
100%
play. I don't
playoffs is
care.
playoffs. It
Well, if
doesn't
you
matter
make it there,
how far you
anything
make
can
it.
happen.
Jaden Daniels has won 2 playoff games already.
Exactly.
He won 2
Yeah.
as a
Okay.
rookie.
Jaden Daniels may be the more talented quarterback, but at the end of the day, we're talking about success in the future. I fully believe that Drake May, building on what he's started this season, sure,
For 4 games.
Okay.
It's early. It's early.
Okay,
It's
gentlemen.
early for sure.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, make sure you stick around with us as the guys are going to be talking some college football when we come back.
Let's see women's basketball.
Found my heart out there in the open. Trees make you feel smaller. Can't help but get lost again. If I need a break, know where I'm going. Where the water's flowing, I'd rather be floating. If it's something I can count on to be free.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Sports Talk in the Burgh. Now, we talked about some NFL football. Now let's get right into some college football. Up in State College, Penn State has had a rough season so far, to say the least. After being ranked second in the preseason and dropping their last 3 games, the university decided to let go of longtime head coach James Franklin. After a long stint with Penn State, Franklin left without a championship. So with that one, should Franklin's time in Penn State be viewed as a success or a failure? Brett, what do you think?
Absolutely not. I mean, has he done? Okay, great recruiter, bad head coach. I want to say that to start. He's done so much for adding people to this team. But if you look at the record books, if you look at the way this team has played during his tenure, no, absolutely not. 1-10 against Ohio State, 3-7 against Michigan, 4-21 against top 10 teams. Sure,
Yeah, and
he's
they
put
only
wins.
had 6 10-plus win seasons, you know. James Franklin.
Yeah,
pulled
okay,
this
does it matter
program-
whenever they don't do
James
anything with
Franklin
those seasons?
pulled this
They don't beat
program
big
out of a
teams.
terrible situation. Let me remind you where Penn State's program was whenever James Franklin was hired. The Sandusky and Paterno era had ended in a lot of controversy. It was a mess. Penn State's reputation was shattered. They hired Bill O'Brien. It was not a success. They bring in James Franklin, okay? James Franklin has the second most wins in team history. He took them to 6 10-plus win seasons. He recruited great.
But
He
without
won
a
4 New
championship.
Year's Six.
Without a
What does it mean
He
if he
won a
doesn't do
Big
anything
Ten
with this team?
championship. He won a Big Ten championship. What you guys are failing to see, your level of success is national championship, big thing. If you don't get it, it's not a
No,
success.
yeah, no,
So that
I get
is
what you mean.
everyone
Hold on,
else's
now hold
level
on.
of success.
Now hold on,
I
I'm
get
not
what you
done.
mean, though,
Okay?
but-
James Franklin raised the floor of the program to a point where they were consistently having success, not against the big teams, but they were a team that was winning and competing. In the expanded college football playoff, they would have been in a lot of college
Okay,
football
okay,
playoffs.
so what-
Okay, but they
the
weren't in
draft
the college
picks
football
they had,
playoffs.
like Saquon Barkley and Abdul Carter, he built players.
Okay, so now
He did
the
build
ceiling-
players,
now
but
we
then
have
he
to-
then
now
he
we have
moved
to
on.
getting bad
What
teams.
did they do at Penn? Obviously, they
This-
were great players
okay.
on Penn State, but he didn't win with them.
The
Didn't
ceiling,
win with them.
The ceiling for James Franklin was not enough. But he raised the program and gained them a reputation where now they're going to go out and they're going to get a strong head coach, a guy who has a higher ceiling than James Franklin. That's a success in itself to pull yourself out of where they were and lead them to where they are now.
I will say, like, I get what you're saying and everything, but it's with every team, every good coach. If he doesn't have a championship,
He
that
has a
knocks
Big
what
Ten
he did.
championship.
No,
A
but
Big
a
Ten
He won the
national
Big Ten championship, and he's
yeah,
been
a
to
Big Ten
2.
champions, but he
You
needed
realize
the national
4
championship.
teams
Yeah, okay.
used to get in the college football playoffs. Now it's 12. How many playoffs would he have
Okay,
been
but
in
if we're
they
talking
were,
so
he
highly
finished in
about
the
James
top
Franklin,
10 for
that
10
doesn't
of the
matter.
seasons.
Everyone has been on the same trajectory. Everyone has had the same college football playoff. That doesn't mean everything. Oh, they could have been this, they could have been that. Why weren't they?
They've had better coaches. Nick Saban's a better coach than James Franklin. Okay?
Correct.
Urban Meyer was a better coach than James Franklin.
Correct.
Ryan Day right now is a better coach than James Franklin. But it doesn't mean that James Franklin is a failure.
He wasn't a failure, no doubt. But what has he done for this program? But in terms of the overall success, it's a failure without a national championship.
In your eyes.
All right. Well, now that James Franklin is out of Happy Valley, the Penn State coaching job is open and is accepting applicants. Nick Evans, who is a diehard Penn State fan, wants to share who he thinks should be considered for the position to take the Nittany Lions back to the promised land. So, Nick, take it away.
Thanks, Joey. A new era of Penn State football means a new face to lead the program. High-ranking coaching options are sure to emerge for the Nittany Lions as the prestigious university is emphasizing success now over rebuilding for the future. Penn State's search will be a fun one, so let's jump into 3 coaching options I believe all Happy Valley lovers should keep an eye on. Let's start off with a long shot for coaching, but probably the best option. We're going to stay inside the Big Ten. That's right. I think Penn State should send a blank check to the Indiana Hoosiers so they can hire Curt Cignetti. Cignetti has turned around the Indiana program and has them in contention for a national title with a strong win over Oregon last weekend. But his quarterback will be entering the draft this upcoming year, and Penn State is a savvy location that might entice Cignetti to lead a powerful program like the Nittany Lions. And of course, we all know Penn State has the money to pay into Indiana. It is a long shot, but Cignetti could be a name that heats up, especially when Indiana travels to Beaver Stadium later this season. Now, moving on to our second coaching option, we have the most likely option on this list, which is Matt Rule. This is not a coaching hire that I support or would be happy with, but it is for sure the most plausible name. Matt Rule played football at Penn State and has a strong tie to Pat Kraft, Penn State's athletic director, when the two were together at Temple. If Penn State wanted to rinse and repeat James Franklin in big game moments, this is the guy. He has a 2-23 record against ranked teams and has never beaten a top 10 ranked team during his supposed successful time at Nebraska so far. More disappointment would follow this hire, but sadly, it is very likely. Now, let's see our final pick, and this one should get some people talking. It's a man who has openly stated that he wants to return to the football world. Penn State, give him a call, the one and only John Gruden. If John Gruden ever wanted to return to the NFL at some point, why not start at the college level? Gruden is known for his detailed offensive schemes and his expert play calling, both of which could pull Penn State's offense out of their boring style of football. He is an intense, fiery leader who would demand the best of his players and would for sure bring in lots of recruits and transfers. If there is anyone that the Nittany Lion faithful would back, it is John Gruden. Well, this search will definitely be a fun one, and now I speak for all Penn State fans when I say the pressure is on to deliver a winning team. Only time will tell for this program.
I mean,
Brett, yeah. What do you have to say about this?
You know what, Nick? I would love to yell at you. I really would, but I'd just
Let's
be
hear
lying.
it.
I can't.
Brett.
I can't because I really like those takes. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know
Yeah, you like
we
'em?
should be. I do. I really do. Cignetti, I agree. It should be Cignetti. It's gonna be a long shot, but they need someone who will win them big games. I know. I just absolutely torched James Franklin on that, so I can't go back on that take now. But Cignetti should be the guy. They need someone who can win those games.
I think
absolutely not,
Indiana.
but
Indiana losing their players this year, I think, is a big indicator that maybe you want to move to a program where you're consistently getting those guys.
Okay,
100%.
but we're talking about coaches and stuff. How about a guy that's in Pennsylvania, Mike Tomlin? What
So going back to what I was talking about.
From James Franklin to James Franklin.
Okay,
is basically what you're saying.
Why would Mike
Doesn't win big games.
yeah, okay.
Doesn't win big games.
Forgot about that one.
Why would
You're
Mike
right.
Tomlin
Maybe you're right
leave
there.
the
Maybe
NFL
you're
for
right there.
college?
Maybe you're right there. Huh?
Why would he leave the NFL for college?
To start somewhere new. Bill Belichick.
Why would he wanna start
Why would he
Bill
want to
Belichick
leave the
retired,
Steelers?
And then,
Why would Tomlin want to leave the Steelers?
because they're kind of in like a, they're just in a.
Yeah, you know,
Like Penn State?
yeah,
Like Penn State?
They're competing for the first
They
spot in the
have
AFC
so
right now.
much
You know, they're in a bad
Penn
spot
State-
right now.
Penn State will give Mike Tomlin anything he wants to lead for him to get out of.
Mike Tomlin has whatever he
Pittsburgh.
wants in Pittsburgh.
He's completely fine in Pittsburgh.
All right, yeah. Maybe that pick wasn't the smartest might be. But we're going to be setting it to break. But stick around because when we return, we're going to discuss the Penguins and Brett's hot takes this season for the Pens. And unlike his Pirates hot takes, maybe he'll get a few right this go around. So don't go anywhere.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back. Now let's not waste any time and get right into it with some Pittsburgh Penguins talk. The Pittsburgh Penguins started their season last Tuesday, and after back-to-back wins, which to start the season, it was followed by 2 straight losses. Coming into the season, there was a lot of talk about the Penguins potentially taking, and after some early success by the Pens so far, this has upset some of the fans. So, gentlemen, is it fair for the fans to be unhappy with the team's early success? Nick? What do you think?
It's not fair. When you're a fan of a team, you support them to win. You want your team to win, okay? The NHL is interesting in a way compared to the NFL because they have a draft lottery. You could finish last place in the NHL and you could not get the last pick. It's not like the NFL. So, I mean, look at the Islanders last year. They didn't finish last, but they got the first pick. You want your team to succeed, and if they don't make the playoffs, then okay, they enter the lottery. But if they make the playoffs, that's a success. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a lot of fun watching them right now. They were close in that game last night against the Ducks. I mean,
4-3 loss in overtime. Yeah, I mean, good game though. They played.
It wasn't in overtime, but they did lose 4-3.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking of another game.
It's a bad penalty. You give them a power play at the end of the game. That's frustrating. But you've got young guys like Kindle and Brunick and Brazeau has stepped up here. I mean, that's exciting to watch. And this is the big 3 we're talking about here. You want the big 3 to lose?
Not.
It's
rumored.
It's not the last year. It's not the last year.
You don't think so?
No.
It's rumored to be their last year.
They're all older, so I mean, I kind of get what you're saying, but I mean, why would you like why would it make sense for them all to kind of like leave and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there's another thing we could bring up is Gavin McKenna. You know, the projected number 1 overall pick this season. Everyone has been wanting the Penguins to get that guy. I mean,
he did go to the best college in the world.
He did go to the best college in the world. We are
Penn State.
Good job.
Oh my lord,
so
fellas.
It is good.
Are we serious?
Yeah, these are the next Pens picks. They have a bunch this year. He is projected to be first overall. You know, you would want to tank for this guy, but it's the big 3s last season, especially when you got Sidney Crosby. You're not gonna be last.
I think the Penguins core is a lot better than people are giving them credit for. Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Carlson, Rust, Raquel. Those are good guys. Kindle and Brunick have shown out. Brazeau. I mean, I'm liking what Brazzers is showing me right now. I mean, this guy's good. He's producing a ton on Malkin's line right now. I mean, the Penguins, sorry, moving on to hockey. The Penguins have great lottery luck in history with getting Lemieux, with getting Crosby. So I think even if they don't finish last and tank and look like the Buffalo Sabres for this year, I think they can still get a successful draft pick.
With like the fans being unhappy, like what does that say about this organization? Like what about the fans' like relationship to the owners that like, oh, we're unhappy that we're losing? Like I feel like there's some disconnect between them.
You could see a light in that. You could say that you want this team to win. You want this team to get better. You want this team to rebuild. The other big thing about the big 3 was that they're getting older. They're not going to be able to sustain this. They're probably going to retire within the next 3 or 4 years. So if you leave yourself in limbo after they're done, you never really know.
All right. So, good one. But in the spring, Brett listed off his top 3 hot takes for the Pittsburgh Pirates season, and to say the least, he swung and missed on each take. Now, as a Pittsburgh Penguins expert, Brett is going to be given his redemption and will list off his top 3 hot takes for the Penguins this season. So without further ado, Brett, the floor is yours, my friend.
All right, everyone. We knew this day would come eventually. Last time I went over my hot takes for the Pirates, and like Joey said, I struck out. But now the Penguins are back yet again for another season. It's only fitting that I go over my 3 hot takes for the Pens this season. Let's get right into it. First off, we need to go over one of the biggest issues about this team in the past few years. A major reason that they've been out of the playoffs, and that is goaltending. Now that Arthur Silva is taking some starts in the crease and Joel Blomqvist is making a name for himself, it is time to say goodbye to starting tendon Tristan Jarry. Coming in behind Matt Murray a few years ago, Jarry looked promising and would later take the starting role. But at times, especially more recently, Jarry has looked shaky and inconsistent at best. Last year, he posted a 3.12 goals against average and a .881 save percentage, both the lowest of his career. Along with that, spending a good portion of the season down in the AHL last year. With his stats declining as his career progresses and new additions in the crease, and maybe time for GM Kyle Dubas to try and find him a new home, and fans to say goodbye-bye to Tristan Jarry. All right, that was the first one. Now let's heat things up a little bit. The 2020s have been very disappointing for the Penguins, and going into this season, expectations are at an all-time low. But I think fans need to be have been a little too hard on this team. They will be flirting with a wild card this year. Now, key word there is flirting. I've reflected on my past mistakes, taken those rose-colored glasses off. This team will not be a top team, but I think it's very possible for them to take 5th place in the Metro this year. Kyle Dubas absolutely cooked this offseason, adding some young depth to the team's aging core. Justin Brazeau, we talked about this one, has found the back of the net 4 times in 4 games to start the season. Ben Kindle and Harrison Brunicky are 2 young guys with a very high ceiling, and plenty of vets around them like I mentioned before. Goalie depth, and with the goalie depth in Scranton, don't get me wrong, the Penguins aren't going to be hosting the Stanley Cup this year, but I think we have to give them a little more credit than just last place. All right, let's turn the heat up all the way. This year, a member of the Penguins will reach the 100-point club. And you know who that one's going to be? It's going to be Evgeny Malkin. This is the final year on his contract. You don't think he knows that? You don't think he wants to go out on his terms? Yes, he's 39. Yes, he's digressed and had a bit of the injury bug the last few years. But we've seen it in the past, especially when Crosby's out of the lineup, motivated Malkin is dangerous. Last year, he recorded 50 points in 68 games on a struggling offense, with little to no help on his wings. But this year, 6 assists in 4 games to start, leading the team. I know it's early, but with Anthony Mantha and Justin Brazeau on his wings, Gino finally has help with a new coach behind the bench in Dan Muse, who knows what we could see out of him. But if he can stay healthy and continue his pace, Gino is not done. He will go nuclear. All right, gentlemen, what do we think? I know I've had some bad takes in the past, but what do we think? Nick, I don't like that expression.
Nick, what's wrong, dude? Nick, you okay? What's wrong? Why you look like that?
Understatement.
Oh,
I don't even want to mention
Oh,
this
come
Pirates
on.
ones. I don't even think the Wheeling Nailers would want Tristan Jarry. He's just
okay. Exactly.
No one's going to trade for him. You're going to be traded a few extra bucks for Tristan Jarry.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
No one wants him. No one wants him.
He may not be traded. He may not be traded.
He's
but
not
this team needs to get rid of him.
He'll end up be getting sent to the minors before he would be sent somewhere else. I mean,
okay,
but let's touch on this Malkin one real quick.
Hit me. I'm ready.
You think Malkin's going to get 100 points?
100%.
With Brazeau and Mantha.
Absolutely.
You think
absolutely?
So?
He has help on his wings.
In Malkin's career, Malkin has only played 4 full seasons. His whole entire career.
If he can stay healthy.
He's had 3 100-point seasons. 2 of them were on those times that he played full seasons. The other one, he only missed 7 games. You think Malkin's staying healthy this whole year and getting 100?
You never know.
Points?
He's looked healthy in these 4 games to start the season. He's
4
had
games.
legs. He's had
4
legs.
games.
Yeah, you got to take with the small sample sizes here.
I don't know. I mean,
I
agree with your wild card.
We got to watch him wait. We got to wait and see.
Hey, I mean, Brazeau and him might be like Draisaitl McDavid.
You never know. You never know. You never know.
Well, that's all the time we have this week. Thank you all for tuning in, and make sure to tune in next week for some more incredibly hot sports takes.